friends, this is Justia Rose with W.A.S. We All Survive. And today I have my surviving friends, Erica.
Hello.
And George. And today our topic is going to be about drug addiction. And today my surviving friends have two different perspectives. So we're going to share that perspective with you. So I'm going to start with you, Erica. How did it all start with you, and in which way?
So it's my brother. He was fighting heroin addiction. And honestly, we lived in the same household for 26 years, and I had no idea.
Okay.
The only way I found out was just like a door was knocked down that my dad had knocked over to get to him, and that was like 4 years ago, and he's been struggling for far longer than that. Yeah, okay. So I think that's a big reason why I'm here, just to talk about it, because no one, even though I lived under the same house he did, I still had no idea.
Okay. All right. What about you, hon?
Well, I'm here because I've been battling substance abuse since I was probably like 12.
It's a long time.
Yeah. So,
okay.
I did that, started out with marijuana, then I started going out, partying, cocaine came into play, ecstasy, Molly,
a lot of teens like to try things.
And recently I've just been, battling with something really, really heavy. You can compare it to heroin, and it's not easy. It's not something that I want to do, but it's something that I can't stop doing. So,
Okay.
And it is like a silent killer. You don't, when you're doing it behind closed doors, it's because you don't want to hurt the people around you, but you just don't really get it by yourself anymore.
Right.
So, it's a struggle, And
right.
Us addicts, we're very good at manipulating, we're very good at lying, and we're very good at what we do.
Right. It makes me think every liar is now addicted.
It's just hardcore drug addicts.
No, I get it.
We're very smart people.
No, and trust me, I know, especially when you guys probably need something, so you guys will think of whatever. But personally, myself, have never been addicted to anything, so I can't relate in that aspect. I've never lost anyone either through it, but I have seen people go through it, and it definitely affected my relationship with them. Not because I was against them or any. It just you would see a lot of pushback. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So
yeah, people start acting different.
Right.
You stop recognizing.
Right, and it's so much I wish I could do, but I didn't know what to do, and I still wouldn't know what to do, and it's sad to say, because I don't know if there's any true steps to take, or especially because every personality is different and people handle things differently, so that's really hard to be yeah, this is what you should do. This person does this.
Yeah, everyone's different.
Right.
And everybody's fighting their own demons.
Right. Exactly.
On top of the addiction.
Right.
Addiction.
Right. Which makes people even want to do that stuff when you're fighting demons.
Even more, yeah.
Yeah, it makes you.
It's like their safety net when it's really not good for them.
Right. But I think we all have a safety net too. It's just we have different ways of doing things. Like me, I shop.
Yeah. No, I know. That's my addiction.
Right.
I mean, some people are addicted to coffee, and if they stop, they get a headache, so they go right back to it.
Right.
So I, again, have never been addicted to anything severe. Right. So as much as I want to talk about it, I still don't understand what that person's going through.
Right.
Some people just have addictive personalities.
Right.
I have one. I could be addicted to shopping because I love to shop. I'm addicted to sex because I love having sex.
Right.
I'm addicted to drugs because I love having drugs.
Right. I get you. It's addictive, yeah.
I also compare it to working out. Everyone wants to work out. Everyone wants to be fit, right?
Right.
But nobody wants to change their eating habits because it's so hard to give up something you love.
Right.
So even I can work out and I can eat healthy, but I still cheat because you can't. Thank you.
I definitely agree. I mean, to me, I think I have I try to not be addicted to anything. I literally try so hard. Anything you can name, all right, I'll stop eating this. I'll stop shopping. I'll stop myself as soon as I feel like I'm becoming addicted. Just because I feel like I don't want no attachments to anything. But that can also be because of other things. But I wish I could understand, because I'm like, when I hear other people that can't let go of something, I'm like, it's not that hard.
Yeah, that was my biggest thing. I didn't have any addiction, so I was just like, just stop it. Like, why can't you just stop it? You're ruining everything around you. Like,
it's hard.
Did you go to rehab?
No, and that's the first part, is admitting.
Right. So what signs after, like, did you start noticing things after?
Yeah. So once I found out, I started noticing his behavior. You know, he was just acting different. You start noticing he just, there was a point where he was so bad, he just didn't look like himself. Mm-hmm. And I would look at him, and mind you, he's my brother. He's my older brother, so he's been around my entire life. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't tell who he was.
Right. Okay. That's sad.
Yeah, you know? It really is, and nobody really talks about it. But
and during, like, I would see pictures, you know, on Instagram with him, and even though I never had the pleasure of meeting him, I could just, everything seemed so peachy to another person, and meanwhile, and it's just like, it's not.
And he was great looking. I mean, all my friends had a crush on him.
I bet.
Anyone I knew was just.
I've never met your older brother.
But they, you know, he's so good looking, and I'm like, yeah, he is. But then at one point where nobody wanted to look at him, nobody wanted to hang out with him because they couldn't recognize him. Right. I would look at him and I'm like, you are not my brother, and it's so sad to say. But it gets to that point.
It does. Honestly, it hasn't gotten to that point for me, I don't think, because I'm very good at, like, okay.
You're still very sociable.
No, not even. I'm not sociable.
Really?
No. You see, that time I came here, that was, like, because, like, him made me come. I just isolate a lot. Mm-hmm. And what I do, like, when I do it, I'm just isolated, and I don't hit up anybody. Like, sometimes, you know, our mutual friend came, she'll be like, are you okay? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, she's like, are you doing shit? And I'm like, Kim, I wouldn't even be sitting here having this conversation with you because I would never disrespect you like that. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, like, I can't do it. Mm-hmm. And it's very private to me, so I just do it with what I know and who I know. Right. You don't hear from me for days, because when I go on a run, they call it a run. Like, even when your brother did that, it's called a run because you're just constantly doing it. I don't run, I jog. Mm-hmm. I'm on that for days. It could be 10 days, no food, nothing, no sleep, no food. Water and vitamins is what keeps me going. Yeah, like I used to weigh 190 pounds. Remember I was a little more chunky? I lost a lot of weight. So that's another thing that it did for me. It kind of, I don't know if I have body dysmorphia, that's what they call it, but like, I like that it makes me not want to eat, because then like I stay balanced out, or I lose weight.
So like, what signs did you start noticing when it like started becoming a problem? Because I bet like at first you're like, oh, it's just fine, it's not a big deal, and then you probably started noticing it started becoming a problem.
When my mom got diagnosed with cancer, I started dipping into it a lot more, and I knew it was a problem when I was going into my room by myself, leaving my my partner, like, we were having issues, so he was sitting on the couch and I was just in my room doing what I was doing all night. That's when it became an issue, because I wasn't even doing it to have fun. I was just doing it to, like, block the pain that I was feeling. Right. Because it numbs you completely from head to toe.
So that's when so did you feel like you noticed those signs a little late, or like
too late? Yeah. Okay. It's always too late when you notice that, because you just don't realize what you're doing. You're just like, I need to block out this pain. Right. A lot of the times you're just going through something. You're depressed or whatever. Right. So, you know, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. But I got to the point where I was like, to my partner, I was like, literally got on my knees. I'm like, do you not see how skinny I am? I'm not eating. I'm not sleeping. Do you not know what's going on? He's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm doing this shit like every day. Like, I'm killing myself because I don't love myself anymore.
Right. So it started affecting your relationships.
And then that's when I went into a facility.
Oh, that's okay. But did you think that facility helped you?
It does, but then I never relapsed.
Because it's on you. Nobody can tell you what to do.
Yeah, like, I'm going willingly, and then like I said, it's very psychological and emotional, especially because it happened during such a traumatic point in my life. Right. Like, COVID hit, and my mom was dying. I couldn't see her because I didn't want to get her sick. Mm-hmm. I was just a mess. I was a hot fucking mess. Right. And that's when like my social life went like
downhill.
Yeah, because I didn't care about going out, or I didn't care about friends. I just wanted to be in my own bubble.
Right. And as I see, like, I feel like you do stuff to, like, help yourself, but at the same time, I feel like
I like
let it go and, you know,
Yeah.
to be what it is.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Yeah.
but, like, you have your moments where you're improving and not improving, and I think you go back and forth with it a little bit.
I'll be honest, I think the longest I've been sober since I was 12, I think the longest I've gone sober without anything, 2 months. So that's hard.
That's hard.
Yeah, so for your brother too, if he was doing it for years, it's just really tough.
And there was 2 months before he passed, June, July. He was great. He looked like his old self.
Wow.
And I remember he had FaceTime my brother, and my brother even said it. He was like, wow, he looks so good. He was working out. He was keeping busy with food, meal prepping, working out, going to work. And I actually wanted to do something like this where we talked about how he finally got over it, because for those 2 months, I honestly thought he was over it. And
so what made him look like that, you think? Like,
he just wasn't doing it, and he took that addiction and took it to the gym. He was eating like 3 times a day, like the same thing, the same boring thing. He was going to the gym for hours after working, 14-hour shift.
right.
So he just kept himself busy from doing
That's what
it.
you have to do.
Yeah, but then I guess after 2 months, just with anything, if you don't make it a lifestyle, you just go back to your old habits.
Right.
I don't know what exactly happened to your brother, but if he was doing, what he was doing, my guess is when he took the overdose, he probably went back to his regular dosage, which is what a lot of them do, and you just can't do that.
And
because your body's not your tolerance is back down.
Right.
And that's the thing with a lot of overdoses. They think that they can go back to the regular point, and that's just that's like
right.
a death sentence. So he probably didn't even think that he was, you know what I mean?
Right.
Is that kind of what happened?
He overdosed. There was fentanyl though in his system, so it was
It's what that does. That drug, it just slows your heart rate. It's a downer. So
and then, do you think in any shape or form he might have knew it was too much, or
I don't know.
That's something that we
she wasn't there.
Right.
That's what my guess is, because he was doing good. He was not doing it anymore, and then, like I said, I always have my relapse, so I'm always like, okay, time to go back to it. But I'm a little knowledgeable, so I know that if I'm gonna do that, I have to go back down to like 0.2, 0.3 usually. Like people are doing 0.10. That's like the full bill.
Right. Well, it's like when you come back from not drinking, what do?
Right.
You go back to straight shots. Like,
right.
You don't think, all right, let me have a little bit of this, a little bit. No, you just go order the strongest thing you know. And
right. Next thing you know, you're on the toilet.
Heroin is scary. I know. I have a lot of friends that struggle with heroin.
You've never got into it?
Thank God I haven't, because you know what I used to be addicted to? Percocets. And I'm not addicted to them, but I'm not gonna lie, when I take a Percocet, it's not like it brings me down, it brings me up. I want to work, I want to like do this.
Does it make you angry?
No, I want to like clean my house, I want to work. Like it doesn't bring me down. Like it takes the pain away, because I do suffer from back issues. But
does it make you heartless a little bit?
No, it's like,
sorry, I know someone that went through that before and heartless.
Is that usually the gateway to heroin? Like, how do people actually get?
That's what heroin is. It's just a cheap version of like whatever that is. So yeah, if I would have started doing heroin, I probably would have loved it, which is why I would never touch it, because then I think I would probably be on my road to abuse. With heroin, unfortunately, most cases are just like overdose.
Yeah,
it's sad. So I'm really sorry that happened to you.
Right.
How long ago was that?
2019. So
yeah. Time flies. I feel like it just happened.
Yeah.
Originally I thought it was a car accident, and I don't know why I kept feeling I thought it was a motorcycle.
Because he was the biggest daredevil. I mean, if there's a way he would have passed or should have, it would have been motorcycle, because he would go without a helmet, he would speed, and actually before he passed, he lost his eye, and he stopped. He wasn't able to ride motorcycle because he couldn't see anymore. So I don't know if like depression played a role in it. How did he lose his eye?
I think depression.
I don't know, honestly. Yeah.
He just never got able to like. He was never able to go to like talk to anybody or anything, right? So you don't really know. I found out like I was dealing with depression and a lot of life issues from back in the day when I started seeing a counselor and a therapist. Like,
Well, see, that's great because I think he would never. I mean, he never admitted he even had an addiction problem. So it's
not
like,
even after you guys found out.
no. I would talk to him, or my mom would say, try to talk to him, and I would talk to him. He's like, you don't know what's going on. Like, I'm fine. Everyone that tried to talk to him, he would never admit it. So the fact that you're here admitting it, I think it's really great because I think that's the biggest
Some
step.
people I know a lot of friends are very scared to open up, so I appreciate those who do. So like I definitely appreciate you guys because it is very scary to own up certain things. I went through plenty of things myself, and who I know certain situations my friends have too, and they're just not as open as I am.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's like tampons. You go into a store or condoms. You know we're grown. Like, why are you so ashamed?
Yeah.
You know, like people get embarrassed by it, but in reality, we all do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, who cares if your boyfriend or if all the guys that get tampons? It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
You're helping a girl out.
Yeah.
Helping a girl, a sister out.
Right. So it's okay. Own it up. I know it could be fresh for some, so it could be like very hard to even express their feelings because they feel like they might explode. That I totally understand. But once you get to that point where you're calm, I feel like it should be okay to open it up because you're owning it, and then it's also easier to move past it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
well, that's what happened too. Originally, when he passed, everyone was asking, "How did he pass?" You know, what had happened, and
So
nobody really wanted to say it because you don't want this image of him being an addict because it's a stereotypical thing. With an addict comes low life,
It's
junkie.
It's a disease.
Like it
it
really
is. A disease because it's like literally something that you have to battle if you want to battle it. And it's a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bitch.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't. I don't know. Everybody has their own demons. Everybody's fighting something. Something drove them there.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We all fight it. Like, oh my goodness, I'm fighting. Like, I fight anxiety attacks, which I'm currently having one. I'm like, not now.
Stop it.
Any other time. Wait like 30 more minutes, please. Where's the sangria?
I know, that's why I've been sipping because I can't.
Is that a break commercial?
One day. But yeah, I'm so glad that you guys are definitely here, and I'm hoping that other people can hear it and they're not alone. But I also want to get to the next question. It's like, well, you told me you kind of didn't know, so like you couldn't really take much actions when you saw besides asking him about it, and I guess he would push you away, right? That's only actions you kind of could probably take.
Yeah, because again, he was so, against really admitting it. But it's funny because I read this book. It's called 5 Love Languages, and I think everyone has their own love language.
Oh my God, yes.
And it doesn't even come in like relationship, just friendship or how to talk to somebody. So I don't know what his love language was. It probably felt more like I was attacking him than helping him. Maybe I should have found like a different way to talk to him. But I just never had the chance.
It's so hard because everyone's so different. You can't read someone's mind. Like, just fighting in a regular like a boyfriend and girlfriend. And I'm like, how do you not know what to do? Like, I'm
telling you.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm spelling it out at this point, and you're still acting like that. I don't get it. Like, but everyone has their love language. So I do understand that. And it's hard, especially if it's something negative going on, to hear it. I know a lot of people don't want to hear it too. That people will try to block it out and not like accept it. Yeah. And it's like
whether they're embarrassed or whatever it is.
It's like you're embarrassed. Right. Because you have like this image that you wanna, or this what do you call it, like when you have like a rep,
like a reputation.
Right.
So
how did you overcome that? Like you own up to it. And
I've always been this.
That type. I feel like you have to have a personality then.
What you see is what you get.
Right.
What's the point of me lying?
Right. So much to keep up with. You don't
but,
lie, guys.
Just because I'm very upfront about it doesn't mean that like I'm not embarrassed about it, and I have to have some sort of trust or whatever because it's deep. It's deep,
Right.
It's very, very hard.
And it's nothing. Honestly, it's nothing to be ashamed of. And yeah, you're not supposed to be doing it, but you have your reasons, and then you would like it to be different, and that's all that matters. Whoever thinks different, that's on them. They probably are on a high horse, so. We all have our stuff that we battle.
Yeah.
But so I want to see what you guys are feeling like currently, like right now with your whole situations. Sorry.
I honestly went through. I mean, I know my mom is the one really going through it all because she lost her son, and I have a son, and I can't imagine exactly how she's going through. But I was the one that found him originally, and I was the one that had to calm my mom down, and I had to calm my sister down. I was the one arranging with the detectives, everything. I was arranging the funeral. And then he passed the day before my class started, so I was going to school right after that. It just,
same thing with me.
Yeah.
I was gonna start
before your mom passed.
And I know then we got she got cancer.
You can't just come back, and you don't want to play that like guilt. You don't want everyone, will feel bad for me. I can't email my teacher and say, well, he just passed, so give me some extra time on this exam.
There's no way you were gonna be able to do that.
No.
You have way too much time.
Yeah.
Did you take a break then?
No, I didn't. And then actually that's the busiest season in my job because I work for FedEx. So the Christmas time is just working 6 days, 70-hour weeks. And then after that, I went away on vacation, and I came back and COVID hit. So it's like one thing after the other, and I haven't had the chance to really mourn. And again, I'm not a verbal person, so I'm not emotional. Like I can't just talk to you about my emotions. So this is a big step for me coming out here, and I was glad you asked me originally. At first, I was like, "Oh my God, no! I don't really know her like that. I can't share such a personal thing with you."
Right.
But my boyfriend's actually been the biggest supporter in my life, and he's never met my brother. So I think it's talking to someone who really doesn't know what's going on, doesn't know the person, is the best way to just cope.
Right, and it helps relieve it and
just talk about it.
And
have you ever thought about seeing a therapist?
I did, and my job gives me 10 sessions. But then again, I feel like it's one thing after the other. I haven't had the time to just de-stress and take care of myself. Yeah, I do. I think everyone should see a therapist.
We all should see a therapist.
Regardless what it's for. Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah.
See, I'm okay with a therapist. I just have never seen one that's smarter than me yet. But, that can actually resolve.
I got you. Because I'm you know how I'm very particular.
Right.
You can't move me
next. Yeah.
Next. And there's nothing against that, but I know.
But it's time consuming. To me, it's like I'm so busy.
It's an hour.
I'm like I work only 4 days, and yet I feel like I need 10 days in a week because I'm like I want to make time for my friends and be there for my friends because everyone has something, and then I also have to
wait till you have kids
can wait because you have to
take care of yourself.
Right.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Your friends aren't here taking
care of you. So mentally, I'm in a good space. I would say I have my other issues that I'm fixing. So back then, I definitely needed a therapist because I was not in a good space. I definitely had my own issues growing up. So I definitely think a therapist is definitely needed when you're overwhelmed, especially if you know how to cope. Great. I feel like it's once in a while you need someone. I have my friends as like a therapy because it's cheap,
Yeah.
And
But does it ever solve the problem? That's my thing. I know how to cope, different things, but in the end, I'm never really battling the thing that I'm trying to fix.
Really?
It's like putting it aside. Like if I go out with my friends, we have a great night that night. Come the next day, I'm still having it. Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't think it's ever gonna go away unless you fix it.
Exactly.
So my thing is like I always take the steps to fix it. It actually annoys me to let it settle in and just I don't let nothing marinate. Like I'm fixing it right away.
Yeah.
Like it's good. Like if I argue with someone, I'm going to fix it today. Like so I don't have to be dwelling it and losing sleep.
Yeah.
I don't like to be in situations. It bothers me, and I literally work on it. But I've also been alone my life, so like I always had to learn to fix it right away, and not because I knew when I was younger, I hadn't like you. I wasn't very emotional. Yeah. I wasn't at all. Like I went through stuff. You could like literally punch me in my face, and I'll cry for that second. To like 5 minutes later, like it's like it never happened.
Yeah, same here.
I'm like, and I felt like a robot, And it's not like I was like careless, like and not having a heart, but it just didn't bother me. I let things slide. Always. Now, wow, I'm not like that no more. I don't know what happened.
Super emotional, but since my mom died, for sure.
Right.
I've definitely gotten more emotional since my brother passed. Yeah.
I think we have triggers.
It's so good to cry though.
It's so good to cry.
I forget where I saw that. It was like 20 minutes a day, or I know it's a long time, but just like cry and let it out.
Yeah, but not every day. No.
Not every day, no, but
maybe every so often.
Yeah.
I literally will go. When I'm stressed out and like I'm ready to kill. Like I'm like, all right, put on some sad music, go
just
in your tub and cry.
Yeah.
But then there's at one point I'm like, I can't breathe. All right, enough, girl. You're really about to kill yourself. But I really do. I think it's healthy to relieve it because I know you have to like release it like somehow. Like I'm not in the gym, so it's like I'm not releasing it that way. You have to find a way to release, and
everyone's different. Yeah. Everyone will find their way.
Some people it's boxing because they get the anger built up. They need to release it. Me, it's crying in the shower.
Yeah, by myself.
And thinking of all the things how to get away with murder.
Right.
I'm joking. Please don't use this against my case in the future.
Right?
I'm joking.
Just crop that part out.
Right. Censor something. I don't know. But okay. So my next question is, well, I didn't actually. What are you doing currently? Like to maintain a healthier lifestyle, I guess, or for you at least.
Work keeps me sane.
Okay.
I have a very stressful kind of job, even though I'm not like registered yet. COVID. I work cardiac critical care, and I work on a cardiac unit, which is like specializes in TAVR. So I have patients that are on heparin. I have patients that are like on like a lot of different drips, have 8 lines. So I have to it exercises my brain and it keeps me busy. So that's,
I think busy it definitely is.
But it doesn't keep me too busy because I work 3 days out of the week,
exactly.
and then when I'm like the rest of the days off, I just I'm not really doing anything productive right now because I haven't had the strength to do anything. Like I'm thinking about like going back to the gym is probably gonna help me, and I'm just gonna fucking I think this time I'll just fucking kill it and go through with it, but I don't know. It scares me because I'm like, maybe I should do steroids, and like then I'm thinking about
don't find something else.
I have access to them. Should I do steroids because I'm gonna want to get a little jacked? Like
I know people that do it, and in a sense, people are so in denial when they say that that's not a problem, but
it is.
Like
my ex, when I met him, he was jacked, like 6'2" fucking juice head, like doing steroids, and the rage was just crazy. The only good thing about it was that he was always horny.
Oh god, that makes sense. That guy I dated did steroids, and he was always trying to touch me. I'm like, back up.
They would he would leak, and I'm like, oh my god,
oh my god, TMI. Cutting that out, maybe? I don't know.
Steroids are not good.
Okay. Well, maybe for some now. Some might be like, oh, maybe I should,
I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable yet, so I don't think I would even want to, but it's the addiction. But should I do steroids? It's just like, this is what addicts go through. And then I'm not a selfish person, but with my addiction, I am. Same thing with your brother. He probably didn't realize it, but us as addicts, we're selfish people because we just care about.
That was just a men thing.
No, we just care about us and what we need, and like we don't realize that we're hurting you guys.
Right.
We don't realize that because we're too.
I think even if you did notice it, it's like you at that point you just don't care, just because you're more worried about getting.
It's not that you care. I care. Like I know that my some of my family doesn't know what I'm going through, and like my friends, my close friends, and like I know they care about me. They check up on me. Even you check up on me, and it sucks because I hate that I have people. Not that it bothers me, but it sucks that I have to have people be like, "Oh, are you okay?" Like
no, I think
it's like oh my god, really? Like am I that? Like,
but you don't think like stories like on my side, like when people do pass away, like does that bother you, or how do you view those stories?
What do you mean?
Like what of people dying from addiction?
How do I view it? I view it as
like does it hit you?
It does because that could have very well been me.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that it's tragic, and it's I don't know. I feel like it was meant to be that way for some reason.
Do you think you're invincible though? Like do you ever?
Yeah, you think you're invisible. You think that it's never gonna happen to you.
Yeah.
Until it fucking finally does. You just know.
That doesn't scare you though.
It doesn't because it's part of the addiction. So like.
Maybe it's part of a thrill too. No,
because what's the like now that I'm not in that space of depression, like it's not like oh my god I want to die. I don't. I have so much to live for, and like my mom, like I know she's with me, and I know that I'm just probably like she's probably dying because my mom and me were like this.
Right.
Did she knew any of this or no?
She didn't know about that.
Yeah.
But out, and I don't want to like disappoint her. I'm actually gonna see a medium next week, a very well-known,
oh my god, I've been dying to
famous
see
medium.
that.
So I've been very nervous because I'm like, is my mom gonna come through? I believe in that stuff.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
I've been trying to do that since it has
have
happened.
you seen?
See, I believe in it, but I don't think
Life After
everyone
Death on Netflix,
does it.
Surviving Death. Watch that shit.
Yeah.
Watch it. It like just puts my head. There's like 2 episodes that are dedicated to mediums and mediumship. It's a real thing.
Oh, 100%. I think.
And yeah, like I'm very excited, but I keep saying it's for my closure. I need closure. But you know, you never have closure.
No.
You're never gonna have closure. You're never gonna have closure.
No.
It's not a thing. You just don't have closure, but you learn to move on, and you know he's in a better place, and not suffering anymore because we're suffering when we're doing this.
Right.
I'm constantly battling my head, my depression, because when I'm coming down from that shit, I'm so depressed I want to die. And I'm like, why do I do this to myself? I'm gonna stop.
You do it for the little bit of the pleasure.
2 weeks later, I'm back to it.
Right.
So it's just it's hard. It is a disease. I didn't believe it at first that it was a disease, but it definitely is. I've been to outpatients. First time I was an inpatient. I was 14. I was in Daytop in Mendo because I got caught smoking marijuana at school. Yeah, marijuana, like whatever. Like you're a kid, you're smoking marijuana. I was just a fucking mess when I was younger.
Right.
And then I started doing coke right after that. I was 14 years old doing coke. So they were like, "What should be on today?" You know, and my mom had to like go through all that with me. I feel so bad.
Aww.
But I mean,
I didn't even do weed until I was like 19, 20.
I feel like
shocked. I'm surprised.
But I feel like she's also proud. Like, look at where I am. I want to go to nursing school. Like, I want to be something. Like, I just want to be something in life. I don't want to be like I want to say like drug addicts and losers, but I don't want to be a fucking loser that has nothing to do with it. I have to be something, and that's gonna be my motivation.
That's good.
People are still people at the end of the day, and they still have lives and they still have careers. There's doctors that do drugs. Let's be real.
Yes,
so to be honest,
I will testify to this. I've been in the bathrooms.
Right. So at the end of the day, people will literally like, oh my god. There's someone I know who literally will like, oh, this person's an addict. Oh my god. Next thing you know, she's doing Adderall.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so Adderall's not a drug, girl?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't like my Adderall. I like it.
No, but the thing is, it's people belittle it because they think of the severity, or I can't even pronounce that right, but severity, right?
Yeah.
So of it. So I'm like, but there's still ways to like get like an overdose, and like you can overdose with alcohol.
Yeah.
So it's like it's still a drug. So don't think you're
like
like.
A lot of alcohol, but it's possible.
That's right. They say if you're in a tub and you just sit in alcohol, you can literally overdose, and because like do they say because your skin absorbs it? So just touching it, I don't know. But supposedly you still die from that.
You know what's crazy about me? Like when I was going through depression, I just wanted to die. So I'm like, oh my god, like let's see if this time I just go. And it's like when you want to die, it's like you don't.
That's so insane.
I don't know if it's my mom or God, but like you're not dying today. Had a gun to my head. And then I was like, oh my god, no! Like if I kill myself, I'm never gonna see my mom.
Right.
I'm a firm believer that that's like one of the biggest concerns, and like I just cannot.
I know some of that, done that.
I was like,
it's very sad.
And now I'm an advocate for people that suffer from depression. I used to be very ignorant about it. I was like, that's just weakness. Like you're just lazy. Like get fucked up and not true.
Right.
When depression hits,
it hits hard.
It hits hard,
and you don't realize it until it hits you.
And even when you get better, because I've gotten better. Whenever I have days that I get like really sad, it's just like that same. It's the cloud comes back. It's a dark cloud, and I'm very depressed. And I'm like, oh my god, like when is this ever gonna get better? But this is something that I have to like live with for the rest of my life.
Right. We all, I think, actually have those like thoughts in our heads of killing ourselves because like life is too hard. It's just about learning to like try to change it and not do it because we have to know that nothing's permanent. Even like a drug addiction or chronic conditions, nothing's permanent. It's about how we move forward and our scenarios always change, you know? So for those who do feel that way, please don't. You have people that love you, and you know, that's such a permanent decision, and you can't come back from it.
No.
You know, well, actually some I guess have, but that's too much to gamble.
Yeah. I could never, especially having a kid too. It's just like,
oh no, and women, you guys have so much to fight for. Usually, like I say, the men are the weaker ones. depression is more prone in men than in women. It's literally a statistic. Like
men can't handle. I feel like as much as women can handle.
no, I
They
was having a pep talk with one of my patients this morning. She's fighting she's fighting COVID. She's like sitting there. She's like, oh my god, my husband's calling me crying. He's such a baby, and I'm here. I'm here. Yeah, I'm like, because you're a woman. Like you guys are so strong. Yeah. I'm like, and I don't know why guys can't admit that because
they're manlier.
Right.
That's bullshit.
Or they think they're stronger than us physically.
We literally need you women, even if we're gay. Like,
right.
I needed my mom.
Right.
Yeah. My mom was my everything, and
we're the ones that are like, come.
Hold you. Oh my god. No, we're like, usually boys are mama's. Like, usually,
100%.
We're mama's boys. So
my son is mine.
No.
Yeah, and he's gonna be.
So cute.
And he's gonna be. And usually women, even if you have depression, you guys usually overcome it.
Yeah, you like snap out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Not everyone. I can't.
Not everybody, but most, usually you guys are really strong.
Because,
that's why girls are running girls are running shit right now, to be honest.
Humans are the only ones with no natural instincts. Like, people say, that you mothers are, like, very nurturing. That's not true. Like, my mother is not nurturing, and she doesn't give a shit about me. And though she'll say it to other people to make her have whatever, like, on her, we don't speak to this day. And but at the end of the day, is that we have no natural instincts. Like, so surviving. So people that do have suicidal thoughts and actually follow through with it, that's like, they obviously are not have that natural instinct to stay alive. Like,
you feel worthless. Right. You feel like there's not, because I've felt that before. Right. I'm just like, why am I? There's just nothing left, and you feel like nobody loves you. Right. Even when you have people that love you,
because you have so many people that love you.
And just think about that, because you really could have felt the same thing. You just
that's when probably the drugs came in.
You isolate yourself, and you're just like, nobody loves me.
It makes you numb.
That's how now, as a mother, I just try to talk to my son. I'm like, you're crying? Why are you crying? Tell me what makes you sad. Tell me how I can help you. Like, just start them young, because you just never know. Oh, yeah, no.
Because then, we're the, mama's going to be her mama all the time.
But I want to go.
But no, you don't have
right? And then his girlfriend is just going to hate you.
Right?
Do you want to have more kids?
I do, yeah.
Aww.
I do. It's just this world right now is not.
It's so cruel.
It's so crazy.
So
chaotic. That's why I was asking something like, oh my god, if I ever do have kids, I don't know.
It's so hard.
I don't feel like I would have good.
This generation.
No, I know.
And let me tell you something. Like, the mental health, like, it's a thing now.
Mm-hmm.
I see like, let's say I go to the ED chart, suicide. And they're all like 9 years old to like 15 years old.
That's
so hard.
And that's my coworker. His daughter, who's 12, sees a therapist, and he is all for it, because he's in a rich town where if you have a therapist, it's frowned upon, right? Like, my child doesn't need a therapist, blah blah blah. Everyone needs a therapist, and they talk, and he's like, I don't ask any questions about their conversations. Let her have her person to talk to, and then we'll talk when we get home.
I had a therapist when I was younger too, because I was such a bad kid.
Well, it's like my son. He doesn't listen to me, but he goes to school and he's the star kid. I'm like, my kid?
Right.
It's good. It's good to have a therapist.
Right.
Yeah. Because they give you coping mechanisms. Mm-hmm. They teach you young how to cope with shit.
Yeah.
So it is good. I don't know if people find it funny.
I only had it during foster care, but
I've never had it. It's just, I guess it was never available to me, but if I can put my son in it, not now, because he can't really talk to people.
If he needs it. It's not like he doesn't need it, no.
Yeah.
Not everybody has to go to therapy.
Right.
Some people need it, and you know when they
need
it. So there's nothing.
And you shouldn't be ashamed.
I feel like if parents does not know how to handle their child, that's when, even if they might not need it in a sense, but like if they don't know how to deal with something, maybe someone else does. Yeah. It's better than to ignore situations. Because ignoring it leads to other situations, and that just is a snowball effect. Yeah. And we don't want to get to that point. I want to hurry up a little bit, so I want to ask you guys one more question for today. I want to ask you, what message would you like to portray onto other people like yourself, and what would you do to like advise them in a better direction? Something that you learned.
I would I think I'm being a little repetitive, but just find that love language to whoever is struggling, whatever it is, and find a way to talk to them. Because I would, if I could go back and do it all over again, I would do it differently. I would try to put my anger aside because it's not me who's struggling, it's them who's struggling. So let me put my emotions on hold and try to get through to them instead of putting my emotions on top of all the emotions that they're going through.
Right.
But you can't help it.
I can't help it.
It's
easier said than done.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it was the way it was meant to play out.
Yeah, and that's it.
There was nothing that you could have done differently that was gonna probably happen today. It was just not,
we like to think so, though.
It was meant to
I
be.
do, and I just wish people talked about it more because nobody talks about it.
Right. No.
He's probably like watching over you right now.
Right. I know, I do. I think it. I had a dream. The only reason I literally cried, and nobody knows this about me because I don't cry ever in public, and I don't. It is okay to cry because now I do every 20 minutes. I was kidding. But yeah, I had a dream that I relived. So I had nightmares that I relived the same day that I found him over and over and over again. And one night, out of nowhere, I had the same dream, but he woke up and he was like, "I'm fine. Like, stop having." Yeah. Oh, 100%. And after that,
so lucky you were able to have that.
well, because I lost my grandparents a year before he passed. And I sat there in bed and I'm like, why isn't anybody visiting me? Like, did you not love me? And the same, my brother passed and I was just in bed. It took a whole year for that dream to come. And I was just like, why is nobody visiting me? Like, did he never love me? Like, and that day came and I woke out of bed. I started screaming. I ran to my boyfriend. I woke him up and I just held him and cried. And after that, I've never had the nightmare again.
I think it's because he just
visited me.
Talk to you. He knew you were hurt. The same thing with me. I haven't seen, I've seen my mom. I've had dreams with her, but she's always like walking away from me or running away from me, and I'm like, why?
Are you ignoring me?
Why not talk to you?
Right.
And it's because she can't. She can't do it. So I hope she's not mad at me. Well, if she does come through, but yeah.
But
so it took you a year.
A year, a whole year.
It took me a year with my mom's death. She died May 17th. So I'm just hoping I have that dream. Because my sister has them all the time.
I think she should be alone around that time too, just so because how much you're gonna be in pain. She was surrounded by love.
Yeah. Because if my boyfriend wasn't there, I would just be screaming in my bed by myself.
Right.
And it gets you into depression. I know I'm gonna break.
Yeah.
Down.
It's a huge thing.
My mom, just.
Right. I think when that time comes for any adversity, when that's personal to you and it's a death, you should always have someone around you because some people handle things differently, and it's like some people would like to be alone, but you should know yourself if you should be alone or not be alone.
Oh yeah.
To handle those things because I know if someone I've never lost anyone that I truly loved yet. I know it's gonna happen one day, but I don't think I would handle it well. And I'll break down, and I just know when I cry naturally, I'm ready to crash. So I'm like, I have to pull over, and then I can only imagine for other people that lost someone like that. It's rough.
And again, for me, my boyfriend was that person to cope with because he didn't know my brother. So he wasn't sitting there, well, he did this in his life. He, is in a better place. No, my boyfriend would just sit there, not say anything, and I would just cry to him and talk to him, and he would just hold me. Yeah. That's all I needed.
Some people need that talk, and some people just need silence and a hug. And you got to find out. And then it's good to ask people, what could I do to help you?
Yeah.
Because
don't just assume everyone copes the same. And
everybody's fucking different.
Yeah.
Right. We all have our.
Some people are just ignorant.
Right.
But not everybody's educated, so I don't blame anybody.
And as a teen, as a teen growing up or a child growing up, we don't know how to cope and we don't know to ask these questions. We're still learning. So the way I handle things now wouldn't be the same way I handle things
from 100%.
then. So it just stinks as teens. I feel like it affects them even more through these certain drugs or a loss or anything because they don't know how to handle it.
Or bullying.
Yeah, anything. Yeah. It's just they're learning, and it's hopefully they have a good parents that can notice these signs. And even then, it's not even on the parent. Sometimes you don't see it, they don't show it. So it's like we don't know what to do.
Sometimes parents are tough too.
Yeah.
When I got bullied, my mom was like, "Okay, well, go kick their ass."
Right.
Get over it. Right.
No, she'd just be like, "Hit them back."
Right.
Sometimes you do kind of have to be like that. I know it's scary to think oh my god, I don't want my kid to go fight because I don't. But you do have to learn how to stand up for yourself.
Right.
That shit.
I think you have to know when to stand up for yourself and when to walk away, and that's when you have to.
You just have
learn.
to instill good morals.
Yeah.
Like the way you raise your kid is a lot.
Oh, I tell people that all the time. I'm like, kids are not easy. It's not just all right, I feed him, go to school, come back, we play, he goes to bed. No.
Especially nowadays. this.
Yeah, I have to teach him how to be emotional.
And now you have to teach
but
about
again,
COVID
stand
too,
up
and
to,
different more things to teach.
What's good? What's bad? I don't know. I mean, I don't have a kid, but if I ever did, I think that would be the most like
difficult.
I would be an annoying parent. Like, you're not gonna do drugs. You're not gonna smoke weed. I'm gonna kick your ass. I would be so what do you call that? Hypocritical.
But then they go off to school and all their friends are doing it, and that's where they pick it up from. Because my brother, nobody in my family does drugs. Like, my brother didn't pick that up at the house.
Family either.
Yeah, it's friends.
Mm-hmm.
So you can raise him however you want, but once he steps out that door, it's a whole different world. Yeah.
All right. So to ask you, what message would you portray to other people like yourself?
Just to like fight hard. Fight hard. I mean, if you're going through addiction, like, it's not easy, but like you can overcome it. I've met so many people that have overcome it. Mm-hmm. You just don't think it's possible. You never see that light at the end of the tunnel, but it's definitely there.
Right.
It's there, and you just gotta want to live.
Right.
Because when you're doing that, you want to live.
Right.
And it's honestly the only thing I can say is it's up to you. Either you want to live or you want to die. And if you want to live, fight hard. Mm-hmm. I'm still fighting.
And probably not to be ashamed of your issue.
Not be ashamed about it. Talk about it. Go see a therapist. Talk to your best friend about it. Tell them what you're going through.
Right. I give you so many props for coming on to this.
The more you talk about it, the better it gets.
Right.
Although I've been saying that for like almost a year now, I'm still struggling.
It takes time.
With it.
You know, that takes time, and the fact that you were even able to acknowledge it this quickly.
It's a start. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people don't notice it, and it could be like 20 years, and they lost their entire family, and living in the streets now, and not working,
and having a kid. Like, something's gonna trigger you where you're just gonna be like, all right, that's it. Like, I'm done. And I hope you find that sooner than later.
You know what? I've had that with other things. Mm-hmm. I don't really drink anymore because I'm just like, I'm over it. I don't really smoke weed anymore because I don't. So it's gonna get tiring. I know one day it's gonna be like, okay, it's done. Like, it's just not.
I can't wait for that.
It's not gonna. Be
I hope we can all get together and we can talk about
honestly,
how you recovered.
It's been getting there. Every time I do it, I'm just like, oh, what did I do this? It's not the same anymore because now my tolerance is so high that like
it's dangerous.
It's dangerous. Now I have to it's just disgusting.
I never want to see relapse and like see this video and then be like, I lost him. Mm-hmm. You know. I'm not saying that would happen, and I think
but it could.
It could. I'm not trying to say that I'm invisible. I'm just knowledgeable. I don't think I would ever relapse, but you never know. It could happen. But my mom wouldn't want that, so it's not gonna happen.
Right.
I'm gonna fight until.
Just
like that shit is just like it was something in the past. So.
Mm-hmm. I'm over it.
I think another method for my message would be is to have a person, what they call it, a sponsor or like a little buddy that when they feel like they're gonna do it again, they call this person to like avoid them.
I've heard the whole system in rehab.
Do you think it doesn't
not
work?
For me. No. Rehab, they have so many like I've gone to AA, NA, and they're like there's all these. I don't like it.
I actually had a coworker or employee of mine who was going through the same thing. He flew from like across the country to come to Dover to get clean, which I thought was like.
There's a very good program.
In Dover. That's what I heard, but I was like, but then Dover itself is just not a good place for an addict. I forget what it was called, but I wanted to give him my number and just be like, but then again, you don't know how to come across it because it's the same thing. We don't know how to talk about it. I wanted to just be like, take my number, and if you ever need me,
and they might also take that. They might also take a wrong image. Oh, is she like me? Like people don't understand when someone's just trying to help.
Yeah.
And then like once you do pass that threshold of like like something clicks in your head and you want to like stop. Mm-hmm. Like my ex, like he's now almost 2 days sober, and he has a sponsor. And he still goes to meetings, and it's what kind of deteriorated the relationship because I wasn't ready to stop.
Right.
So now it kind of hurts me because he sees me, I'm like this piece of shit, and I'm like, well, you were there too, motherfucker.
Right.
But I'm always like, and that's why we're going our separate ways because he is scared that he's gonna have his own relapse because of me, and I'm like, you know what, I respect that, and I love you enough to let you go.
Right.
I love him. I thought we were gonna buy a house, get married, but it's not gonna be possible because I'm not there yet.
Right.
And not for nothing, he had years of battling it, and finally something clicked. I'm like, this is something.
It hasn't clicked yet.
Me. Yeah. This addiction.
It has to get real, but hopefully it doesn't get to that point where it's so real and it's too late.
Yeah.
It's good that you already know, and I think you feel safe. I think that's what it seems like. It seems safe, so you're like, okay, I'm gonna be okay if I do
I don't
it.
feel safe. I just feel like I'm a fucking idiot sometimes.
You're just so like vocal about it, which I love. I think it's great. But I'm like, again, it's me not knowing what you're going through. I'm just like, come on, you're so close. Like,
right.
No,
10 times
believe me,
further
I'm
than
so
Seattle.
far.
I know, but you still.
So far.
I guess I'm comparing you to my brother, and it's just my brother would never do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you would never
tolerate
it.
You might have done it.
Yeah,
maybe
somebody else.
Yeah.
He was never in a facility. Like, I don't know, because I've worked in facilities. I've seen other people that go through different kind of drug addictions. So I understand the heroin thing. I'm just like, oh my god, I feel so like it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough, but you know what? We're all
I
here.
forgot to turn off the fan. I'm so upset.
Is it gonna?
Yeah, it's gonna affect the sound. Like,
It's not that bad.
I don't hear it.
Well, yeah, you don't hear it, but then the video catches.
I know every little thing. Yeah,
even like the fridge. I'm like, oh,
Well,
so much
have
editing.
To redo.
We
no redo. But hopefully we can definitely do a reunion and see how things overcome.
I would love to have you back. As if I'm hosting it, but
Yeah.
I would love to have you here. Clean. I will host it at my house. I won't turn the fan on, and we will have lots of drinks. I want to cheers to your recovery. I really do.
I don't have a drink, but you guys can do it together. You guys will great. But thank you guys for coming and
thanks for having
sharing, because this is
seriously.
really personal and really deep for both of you in different ways. And I know a lot of people are very.
I feel a lot for Erica because
right.
I was like, man, you're here for something you're going through, but like,
right, it's
like,
different.
Losing somebody you love to that it's hard. I can't even imagine.
And I don't want to lose you. I don't even know you, and I don't know you personally like that. But
you know me personally.
Somebody
we've seen each other, but we don't know each other.
Loves you.
That's
like I love my brother and would not want anything to happen to you.
Like, I'm a friend. No one wants to lose anyone. And even if you don't know, it's sad to even hear. People like, I don't know your brother. Yeah, it's still sad. I mean, I won't feel what you felt, but it's sad.
It's really sad. Honestly, that it has me like.
Yeah.
I hope I came here and I changed
somebody's life.
We can all stay in contact. I have a cell phone. I don't always respond, but because I'm, it's become a really bad habit of mine too. Like, I don't respond sometimes to like my closest friends. Can't line me up.
Right. No, but it's good, and like people they do it to like
I feel bad because I'm like, it's not that I don't want to respond. It's that like I don't know.
People check up on me, and I don't have that issue. They check on me because like I have a lot of bad days,
I
and
just
I'm
used to
not.
be so social. I miss the days where I was just really social. It's just like I'm a different person. But I think it's gonna be good because once I'm in school, like I'm not gonna have like I really want to go back to school. And
that'd be good for you.
The route is gonna be CEO. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Open up your own facility.
Right.
Yeah.
She'll do something, and I'll
clean. Those facilities make a lot of money. That's why they want to keep you there.
Right.
You better have good insurance. If you have good insurance, come on. Literally, I went to a detox in New York. I met my deductible within the first 3 hours I was there.
Oh my god.
It was like the bullshitest thing ever. And if I ever relapse like that, I'm going back there. It's called Ascendant. So if any people need to go to a detox, Ascendant New York. I forgot what street it's on.
How did you just go there? Like how did you take yourself there?
Well, I came back from California.
Because you're an adult, right? You have to be 18 or 21 to take yourself.
No, you have to be 18. 18. You're an adult. And since I go to this place, I've gone to this place in Dover. They have connections everywhere. They usually send you to Light Solutions and AC. But then COVID was happening. They didn't have rooms. I got lucky and Ascendant picked me up. So it's a very bougie detox. You just have to have really good insurance. But it's really good there. Like, I got a whole private penthouse. I have literally massages, whatever you want.
I'm about to go.
Yeah, you can literally say, I'm detoxing from alcohol, please.
Right. For the day. Give me a massage.
I'll have a lot of connections for a lot of those things. If you guys ever have a friend that needs to go to detox or just needs to be out,
Oh, that's good to know.
Call me.
That's good to know.
I can direct you to some very good people.
Okay. That's good. Sure. Thank you guys again. Sadly, this is all the time we have, and I want to thank you again. And we're definitely going to do a reunion for sure. And don't forget to like and subscribe from the links below. All right, bye.
I forgot about the